As Trump flies back from Beijing claiming a diplomatic reset, is his trip now being overshadowed by a few seconds of awkward video that have set social media on fire? With cameras rolling at a formal state banquet, did Trump really get caught on camera sneaking a quick peek into Xi Jinping's file, handing the internet its latest gotcha moment? If America's president did lean over to snoop inside the Dragon's Open folder, was it innocent curiosity, a bad look on live TV, or a tiny glimpse of how he treats sensitive briefings? Did Trump actually try to read Xi's notes during the dinner, or are we all reading too much into a brief glance that just happened to be caught from the perfect angle? Either way, how did one split second at the Trump-Xi banquet explode into a massive meme fest, turning a serious summit into a global joke about copying from the neighbor's sheet? On May 15th, Donald Trump wrapped up his high-stakes visit to Beijing, closing out a summit that was supposed to be all about war, trade, and a new US-China relationship. But amid the formal banquets, long briefings, and joint statements, one short clip from the state dinner grabbed the internet's full attention and refused to let go. In that viral video, Trump appears to lean over and briefly peek into an open file in front of Xi Jinping's seat, just long enough for viewers to freeze frame and speculate. The moment unfolds as Xi momentarily steps away from his place, leaving a folder on the desk, its pages visible enough to tempt any curious neighbor. Trump leans in, glances quickly at the pages, then straightens up again as the camera keeps rolling, creating a few seconds of ambiguous body language for the world to interpret. It didn't take long for social media users to turn the clip into a massive online meme fest, layering captions, music and freeze frames over that single sideways glance. Several viral posts compared Trump to a student copying from a classmate's notebook during an exam, joking that he was checking Xi's answers at the big diplomatic test. Many users openly called the incident embarrassing, arguing that whatever he actually saw, the optics of an American president peering into Xi's papers at a state dinner looked clumsy and undignified on the world stage. Donald Trump arrived in Beijing hoping China could help the United States address tensions with Iran and the growing crisis around passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Expectations were high that Xi Jinping might use Beijing's leverage over Tehran to push Iran toward accepting U.S. terms or at least to reduce actions that threaten commercial shipping through Hormuz. However, post-meeting readouts from both Washington and Beijing suggested the talks did not produce a meaningful shift in China's position on Iran or a clear new commitment to U.S. demands. China remains one of Iran's closest diplomatic partners and its largest oil customer, giving Beijing economic and strategic reasons to avoid measures that could be seen as directly confronting Tehran. After his first round of talks with Xi, Trump publicly claimed the Chinese leader offered to help resolve the conflict, framing the visit as potentially productive on the Iran question. Later, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told NBC that, according to his account, the United States had not formally asked China to provide specific assistance, complicating the administration's messaging. The White House said both sides agreed the Strait of Hormuz must remain open and that Iran should not acquire nuclear weapons, presenting those points as common ground from the meetings. However, China's statement about keeping Hormuz open could also be read as including opposition to external measures such as a U.S. blockade, leaving room for differing interpretations. She reportedly opposed any militarization of the strait or the imposition of tolls on shipping, emphasizing Beijing's preference for freedom of navigation without added security measures. Despite the talks, Beijing appeared to stick to its existing position on the conflict, reiterating long-standing principles without signaling a change in policy toward Iran. China had earlier called for normal passage through the Strait of Hormuz, language that emphasizes commercial transit but does not equate to taking sides in regional coercion. Notably, China's foreign ministry readout made no mention of support for shipping tolls or enforcement measures that would back a U.S. blockade, indicating caution in its public posture. Trump himself acknowledged limits to Xi's influence over Iran, noting in comments that the Chinese leader was unlikely to apply forceful pressure on Tehran. "He's not coming in with guns," Trump said when asked whether she could compel Iran to change course, underlining an understanding of Beijing's constraints. Hours later, China's foreign ministry reiterated that Beijing's position is very clear, signaling continuity and an unwillingness to adopt dramatic new steps for Washington. That statement strongly suggested China had no plans to alter its stance at Washington's behest, reinforcing perceptions of diplomatic distance on the Iran issue. The developments fueled speculation that China had effectively snubbed U.S. expectations by offering vague support for open navigation, but stopping short of concrete action against Iran. All this unfolded even before Trump's high-stakes Beijing visit had officially concluded, leaving key questions about the trip's impact on Iran and Hormuz unresolved.
This has been an incredible visit. I think a lot of good has come of it. We've made some fantastic trade deals, great for both countries. He's a man I respect greatly. Become really a friend. We've known each other now 11 years, almost 12 years. That's a long time. And we've settled a lot of different problems that other people wouldn't have been able to settle. And the relationship is a very strong one. We did discuss Iran. We feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. They closed it, and we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy, and it's no good. Can't have it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.